It's a Purple Friday on the 21st of November. Week 12 of this NFL regular season officially got kickstarted last night in Houston. I'd be remiss if we didn't begin with that, which is exactly what we will do here inside the vault for a Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. I'm Bobby Trossett. Sarah will be back with me on Sunday for our post-game coverage. I will have a personal live stream dropping later this afternoon for you. Just so you're aware, Rashad Bateman and Keon Martin, the only two missing Ravens at practice. Rashad Bateman obviously continues to deal with the high ankle sprain that forced him to miss last Sunday in Cleveland, and it looks like that's going to be the case coming up this Sunday in Baltimore. Keon Martin dealing with a rib setback from the Browns game, which forced him to actually travel back separately. It was not, I don't believe, as serious as previously indicated by John Harbaugh. So that's good news for the undrafted rookie who's played some solid, in a pinch, cornerback and slot cornerback at that. Even included some DB blitz packages dialed up by Zach Orr. So practice is getting underway this afternoon from one winning drive in Owings Mills as we get started today. And I have a rundown for you, which is all brought to you by our friends at Primary Residential Mortgage, PRMI. One of our longest standing sponsors on both channels. This month, we're doing a $100 Fanatics giveaway. If you'd like to enter yourself in, do so by clicking on the link that I have included as a pinned comment in the live chat. There's also information in the show notes, and I'll tell you more about all of it coming up in just a bit. Derrick Henry gave a prickly response when asked about short yardage situations, confidence, no confidence, execution in the red zone, which has been one of the Achilles heels for this Ravens offense all season long. Todd Monkin and Lamar were both asked point blank, what is wrong in the red zone? Jake Asman will drop by for some Jets perspective coming up in 25 minutes because it is Ravens and Jets. The road stand is over. A home stand begins, and 5 days, and I should say 2 games in 5-day stretch begins on Sunday as well, with the quick turnaround on Thanksgiving night. 6 days from right now. Today is Friday, right? 6 days from right now, the Ravens will play, of course, and host the Cincinnati Bengals at the bank. Perhaps Joe Burrow will be under center for the Bengals. Maybe he'll even play this upcoming weekend. Okay, let's get right to it. The Texans are above 500 after last night's win and a defensive dominance. I mean, come on. Did you guys have a chance to watch this one? Houston beat Buffalo 23-19 in a game that Keon Coleman did not play in for disciplinary reasons. He's missed the last 2 games as a former first-round pick and a very promising wide receiver out of Florida State made by the Bills front office. That was not the story of the game, though. The story of the game is what Houston's defensive front successfully and effectively did to Buffalo's offensive line. Lamar's not the only one dealing with a lack of pass protection. You can add Josh Allen to that list as well. He was pressured on 33% of his dropbacks and took a career-high 8 sacks, a couple of which were on him, and he admitted to exactly that post-game. On those dropbacks, again, 33% of his dropbacks, he was pressured, and that led to just 1 first down. It was a heck of a defensive performance by D'Amico Ryan's group. And as you take a look at what's really plaguing the Buffalo Bills so far in 2025, it is pass protection. It is some decision-making from Josh Allen. 20 sacks on 308 dropbacks, 6 throwaways. You see when it compares to his 2024 MVP numbers in that category, it's been a problem. And Dan Orlovsky was talking about it early this morning on various ESPN programming. He says, throw the ball away, let your completion percentage take the hit. You don't have the receivers to play behind schedule, and they are really lacking playmaking talent around Josh Allen. The story, though, for me, is more about Houston's defense. This Texans defense is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Right now, they are perhaps in pretty good position to be a wild card, but still in that lurking category, as are the Ravens at 5-5. Texans defense as a whole this season tallied up 11 interceptions, 10 passing touchdowns allowed, And as DJ, who covers them for ESPN, notes, yeah, the defense allowing fewer yards per game at this point, still a long way to go, but allowing fewer yards per game than the 2013 Legion of Boom in Seattle. So needless to say, this is a Texans group that, as we saw last month, came into Baltimore and smacked them in the mouth. Granted, it was without Lamar and without a slew of starters due to injury. But the Texans are a team that, man, you get CJ Stroud back healthy. Davis Mills has been more than serviceable for them at backup quarterback, much like Tyler Huntley has been this season. Texans could become a tough out. The Ravens have obviously handled their business with the exception to this past season's matchup last month. They've always dominated much throughout the Lamar era. They have had their way in the upper hand over Houston. But this is a Texans defense that's playing at an all-world level. So as you take a look at the AFC playoff picture entering the weekend, Ravens, Chiefs, and Texans still in the hunt, if you will, according to this Amazon Prime graphic from last night's program. Houston improved to 6-5. Kansas City, razor-thin margin for error at 5-5. The Ravens at 5-5, honestly, I think when you look at the divisions and you look at the way this picture is starting to unfold, the Ravens actually have the clearest path to the postseason in the form of just straight up not simply, but you know what I mean, strategically winning the division. There is a legitimate path to not only making the postseason, but hosting a wild card playoff game. And if you told me that a month ago, I would have looked at you like you were crazy. Denver still leads the way at 9-2 if the postseason were to begin today. New England right there neck and neck at 9-2 as well. Indianapolis, big test for the Colts coming up this weekend. They are 8-2. And the Steelers clinging on to that one-game lead atop the AFC North at 6-4. Wild card teams right now would be the Chargers and Bills at 7-4. And Jacksonville, which has been leaking oil in recent weeks, at 6-4 would be the third wild card team. So again, this is setting up very nicely, matter of fact, for the Ravens, who have a very winnable game against the Jets coming up on Sunday. They are favored by a double-digit overall spread. I think the last I saw was 14.5. Tyrod Taylor will be QB1 for New York. They benched Justin Fields. And after that, the stretch begins. AFC North football, stiffer competition, short weeks, so on and so forth. So while this absolutely is there for the taking, it is wide open, maybe as wide open as I can remember since I started covering this team 8 years ago. It is wide open, the AFC. It's going to be a whole lot of fun to see how this thing shakes out over the course of the next month or so. What's not going to shake out well for the Ravens is if they don't clean up a few pieces of what's been plaguing them offensively speaking. This is a group that ranks 28th league-wide in the red zone, guys. Less than 50% of the time that they're inside the 20, they're not cashing in. 47.2% of the time they're scoring touchdowns inside the red zone. It's not going to cut it. They haven't been good enough on first down when running the ball. They haven't been good enough in pass protection. And I would love for you to vote, by the way. I have a poll, a new in-show poll feature that we're tinkering with, where I ask you guys, those of you that are watching concurrently right now in the YouTube space, pretty simple question. What's the biggest issue right now with the Ravens offense? And overwhelmingly, I'm seeing the offensive line, and I would agree with that. But there's also other issues as well that I think deserve attention. Lamar's health. Yes, he was upgraded to full participation yesterday, which is great news for him, just as he was last Thursday. Bodes well for him to continue to obviously play in the aftermath of missing multiple games due to that hamstring injury. We know that he popped up last week after the Minnesota game with a knee, and this week it was an ankle that forced him out of Wednesday's practice. He talked about his health, and why don't we start there before I talk about some of the Derrick Henry commentary on the short yardage issues, so on and so forth. Here is Lamar fielding multiple questions yesterday at his press conference regarding his health.
want to know how are you feeling physically?
I'm good. I was able to practice. Good.
Yeah. Do you feel like that has it affected your play at all? Because a lot of people will say when you have some injuries, you're not at full strength. Has that impacted your play at all?
I mean, if it just happened in the game, probably. But if you was injured, took some time off, and you was able to come back, I doubt it.
How are you handling the part that it's something different almost the last 3 weeks?
It's just part of football, I guess, but I'm good.
Your new normal, just you might need a day or two off here and there just because you are dealing with some things right now for this season?
Probably. We'll see how it go, though. Got to see how Coach feel about it.
Has there ever been a time when you were, caught from behind that it surprised you that you got tackled? Just curious.
Only when I start, when I'm thinking it's like I'm gone and nobody chasing me. That's probably been the only time. But other than that, nah. I don't recall getting caught in the league at all, though. So.
Rarely.
Yeah, when did I get caught? Rarely. Who caught me?
Getting caught in the Chiefs game when you caught your own pass.
Oh, that don't count. That do not count. Everybody know that was a touchdown for real. I ain't even know he dove.
Yeah.
That don't count. Get walked down. I ain't get walked down. He was right there already. He was full stride. I'm looking in front of me. I'm like, oh, it's 6. I'm like, what the happens, man?
You think Lamar Jackson's ever going to admit to being caught from behind on a football field? I don't think so. But I think we've all watched some of the wear and tear, right? Some of the injuries start to pile up. And obviously, the duress that he's been under from a lack of pass protection this year has us all wondering the same thing, which is what a reporter asked Todd Monkin point blank yesterday regarding his health.
Lamar, he's been dealing with hamstring that limited him there when he came back. Has had some knee soreness. Has any of his injuries, has that impacted your game plan or what you guys have done at all?
Nope.
Has anything related to Lamar Jackson's health impacted your play calling is what Jamison Hensley asked Todd Monkin, and it was a one-word response, a one-word answer. Nope. To be quite honest with you, though, and Maverick, you've just done it, by the way. It's hard to multitask and also track the live chat, but Maverick, your ass is gone and don't come back. Later, ban user and delete their comments. Mav, he gone. Running out. Back to the content related to Lamar's health. Of course, he's not going to say anything related to how he's truly feeling right now. But as we've watched some of the red zone issues unfold, as we've watched the lack of pass protection, as we've watched the guard play, the subpar below standard guard play, start to trickle down to other areas of the offense, right? Speaking to not only Lamar's congested pockets, but also the type of positions that Tyler Linderbaum has been put in as well at center when Fa'alele at times is simply searching for work. That speeds up. I saw a lot of commentary last night on Josh Allen's, I believe it was referred to as pocket compass, meaning the internal clock, the feel, the rhythm within the pocket being completely offbeat, out of sync, so on and so forth. Some of that's on him, much like some of this is on Lamar, but the overwhelming majority of that off-sync nature is due to the discomfort, the inability to process, and obviously go throughout all of your reads as a quarterback, knowing that rush is coming and coming often. And so both quarterbacks, as we watched last night and as we watched Sunday in Cleveland, it's hard. It is hard to make high-level, quick decisions in the pocket when you are under duress so often, more than not. And we've seen that rear its ugly head. Even greats like the back-to-back reigning MVPs in Josh and Lamar, even they have their struggles when you have that kind of pressure coming at you from all different angles. And the amount of breakdown and the lack of pass protection continues to, I think, frustrate some of the folks within this building, obviously. I thought Derrick Henry had somewhat of a prickly response when asked about some short yardage issues. In this case, a reporter was asking him specifically about what ended up becoming the game-winning play on Sunday in Cleveland for Mark Andrews and company. Obviously, Derrick and Lamar had their roles respectively, as did Pat Ricard, as did Charlie Kohler sealing the edge. But Derrick, not exactly a fan of the way that this question was asked, or maybe, quite frankly, he's just tired of trying to come up with answers as to what continues to plague this group up front.
This sort of confidence, though, in short yardage situations, though, going forward?
This must have been the best play I've ever seen in y'all life. I mean, we just executed the play. It worked, and we always have confidence. Not because one play went for a touchdown, we don't have confidence. I mean, defense get paid too. Sometimes they're going to get the best of you, sometimes you will. So that's just football.
Derrick, related, what do you think has to change, or how can the red zone, especially the deep red zone, improve?
Execution. Us just executing, us being better. It all ties in together. I think it's just us focus on it and getting better at it, letting the results show. Just having to execute. This has been our style of play and the result that we want.
All right, just in case you missed the part in the beginning there, right? He was asked about if Mark Andrews' game-winning play gives the team confidence in short yardage scenarios moving forward. And you could he smiles, but it wasn't exactly like a pleasant smile. It was almost like an irritated smile. And he goes, this must have been the best play y'all ever seen in y'all life. We just executed the play. It worked. And we always have confidence, not because one play went for a touchdown. All right. Look, this is coupled perfectly with the way that Lamar chose to handle questions related to this very topic, related to the offensive line struggles, the lack of pass protection, and how many times he's been sacked so far this year. In 6.5 games, guys, he's been sacked 23 times. That totals the entire amount from 2024 collectively. That was the full body of work. It's not the right phrase. Body of work almost is a positive phrase. No, that's the amount of times that he was sacked last year, and he's already reached that number through 6.5 games this year. I think frustrations are running rampant. How can they not be? How can they not be? Here's Lamar on it.
3 sacks all of last year, and that's how many you have this year in fewer games.
Talk to the offensive line about that, man.
What?
I mean, about that, man. I ain't trying to,
realistically, I mean,
talk to my guys about that.
Do you feel the cumulative weight of some of the pressure you've been getting this year?
I mean, it's part of football, sometimes guys will get you, sometimes they won't, Like I said, I'm talking to my guys about that. They probably ain't gonna like that, though. Like, you guys telling me it's 23 sacks, they probably not gonna like that.
No, I can't imagine anybody's gonna like that in any in any capacity, because quite frankly, we've seen some of the consequences that come from that. Missing games, having an inconsistent internal clock, or perhaps some indecisiveness, or some quick game issues, or perhaps in some cases holding on to the ball too long. It's all part of the equation. And when you're not running the ball effectively in the red zone, and you're not cashing in the red zone, and you're settling for field goals, the Ravens have been able to overcome some of these deficiencies over the course of their 4-game winning streak, a lot of which has to do with the defense playing above average and taking away the football, which they've done 8 times over the course of the last month, where they're 4-0. That's tied for first, by the way, league-wide from Zach Orr's group. So he's like, look, quote, I'm going to talk to my offensive line about that, he says. Todd Monkin was asked about it. He refused to make any excuses, but also had this to say specifically about the issues that they've had in the red zone.
Having Pat Ricard back has been a tremendous boost for us. I mean, the things he allows us to do in the run game, protection, his physicality that he brings is a big part of that. And then anything that we do It doesn't matter whether it's third down, fourth down, any down and distance. We're always trying to mirror up what we do as best we can. What we've done and what we presented to the defense, how can we do something off of that? And that just happened to be one of them.
I know you said the red zone issues are byproduct of multiple things. Specifically, I guess, with the inability to run the ball down in the red zone. Why do you feel like you haven't been able to consistently do that part? I guess.
Well, that's a part of it, but that's not the only part of it. We have to run it better, and it's not just the red zone. Short yardage in the black zone, third downs. We always have to be able to run the ball well. And then when we don't, then we have to be able to execute in the passing game, which we have in the past, and we're certainly more than capable of doing it. But all of us, and I think our guys would agree to that, have owned that. And, some of the last couple weeks have been unfortunate. We get the ricochet off Rodgers' helmet. A week ago, we had a hell of a 2-minute drive and kick a field goal, but that gives you 0 for 1 in the red zone. But that was really a hell of a drive. And I'm not making excuses. We got to be a lot better in the red zone. But what matters most, just like any week, is that we're elite this week in the red zone, right? We're unbelievable in terms of offensive penalties, right? We haven't had procedural, we're not holding. But you know what matters? Is that we don't have penalties this week, right? That we're great on third down, that we're able to run it this week, that we're able to throw it this week. Just like anything, right? If you go 0 for 4 in baseball the day before, you know what matters now? Frickin' today. That's what matters right now. And really that's the way we're going to look at it, is you can't carry over stats, right? But we sure as hell can fix it and be really good this week.
Forever and always, you're going to get some transparency and bluntness from Todd Monkin, and he'll also look inward, right? He'll also hold himself and this entire offensive staff accountable, which is indeed refreshing. I see some of you commenting on that very topic in the red zone, and I believe him. Now, there's one area that I call his bluff a little bit, right? When he was asked a couple moments ago that I shared the snippet of, is Lamar's health impacting the way that you call plays? And he just straight up one-worded and said no. Of course he has to say no. He's not going to say yes. I think we can all see with our own two eyes that it's clear that Lamar does have some limitations right now physically, and a lot of that has to do with the wear and tear and breakdowns in pass protection this year that has put him in some very difficult spots, not to mention taking probably the 2 biggest hits of his career. One came against the Bills and Ed Oliver, and then the other came just 2 weeks ago. That's not to mention, by the way, the 5 sacks that he took against Myles Garrett and company, not all of which were the offensive line's fault, but there is a cumulative effect that has on the psyche. No question about that. Some super chats have come in. Captain Hard says, LMAO, what they tell Lamar, throw the ball away. Kobe Pruitt says, MV pity. You hear that? It's Ty Cole. What is this? It's goalposts moving for Josh Allen. It went from he's so great he can win without help to how do you expect him to be great without help? Pick a lane, Acho and Shady. Kobe also writes, I feel like the media is trying to justify their MVP pick, but regardless, I look forward to righting a wrong at the bank during wild card weekend in a rematch. Can you imagine if it's Ravens-Bills? That's a legitimate scenario that can unfold, KP. A couple months from now, Ravens-Bills, a home wild card playoff game for the Ravens. And yes, to your point, a rematch from last year. Wouldn't that be something? Regarding the AFC North, by the way, Zach Taylor, Bengals head coach, notes that he has not made a decision. This was in the last 5 minutes or so. Has not made a decision on whether or not Joe Burrow will play on Sunday for the first time since, of course, the toe procedure that forced him to miss this chunk of the season that he's been sidelined for. And ultimately, they traded for Joe Flacco because of it. The Bengals have until Saturday at 4 p.m. To move Joe to the active roster. For right now, he's listed as questionable. Cincinnati plays New England. That game is a Bengals home game. So just as we take a look at the AFC North, I know in a lot of your eyes, the Bengals aren't a legitimate contender or even a legitimate competition for the Ravens. But as long as they have Joe Burrow and those 2 stud wide receivers healthy, they're going to be competitive. No question. We saw it last year in the 2 games. Yes, both of those games went the Ravens' way, much as this rivalry has gone throughout the Lamar era. It's been utterly dominated by one side. I get that. But they have still something to play for here. And Burrow clearly is trying to get his butt back to keep them mathematically involved in this overall AFC North and the overall AFC playoff picture, because it is so friggin' wide open. Is Mav back? Let me know. I'm trying to do both, guys. I appreciate the patience. Obviously, it's hard to host a show and do everything that obviously, look, Evan, Bobby, you need to mod the chat, bro. Yeah, you don't think I know that, Evan? God, some of the things, Evan and I are like bros to the day that we die, but he says some things that just make me want to lose my mind on him. And I have in the past, by the way, and he has on me before. That's the brotherhood right there. Lamar Jackson on Isaiah Likely when asked yesterday.
With Isaiah Likely over the last 4 years, why do you feel like he hasn't had as many breakout games this year since he came back from the injury? And do you feel like it's still going to come his way at some point?
We got other tight ends, other guys eating, but he's been coming along, as the season been going on, and he was out like the first few weeks, but his time is coming, but like I said, we got other guys who's been stepping up and doing their thing. So, when your number's called, I feel like he's going to do what he's supposed to do.
So the Isaiah Likely conversation, I think, is a relevant one when it comes to some of the issues they're having in the red zone, right? It starts with, yes, play calling, and even before then, it starts with the lack of pass protection and consistency that they're getting up front. But in a contract year, having missed the first few weeks in the aftermath of his foot surgery, Isaiah's been really, really quiet statistically. 118 receiving yards on 12 receptions, 17 targets, no touchdowns in 7 games played. I think this has everything to do with more health-related details due to him getting back from this foot. But obviously, some of it has to do with how quickly these plays are developing. And what I mean by developing is Lamar under duress and not allowing these plays to further develop or routes to further develop as he has in the past. And then not to mention with the escapability and the elusiveness not there as much. I'm not saying that Lamar still doesn't have those tricks in his bag. I'm just saying he's clearly banged up, so much so that he's already had 3 known, at least to the public, ailments. And when that element is not a part of your game as much, that comes into play as well when you're trying to extend these plays. So it really has been a perfect storm, I think. You add in the fact that Rashad Bateman's dealing with a high ankle sprain. He was a total reliable target for you in the red zone a year ago, 9 total touchdowns overall. He's probably going to end up, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up missing a month with that high ankle sprain that tends to linger. So that's a part of the conversation as well. But I think as we all look at this, it's pretty obvious. It starts with the offensive line. It then trickles down to Lamar's health. From there, it goes to play calling. And then after that, you can have a bunch of different conversations about why things are going wrong and have continued to go wrong. And I forgot to send Jake Asman his guest access line. Sorry about that. He's probably thinking, are you going to send it to me? No, I did not send it to you yet. And this right here, folks, is a product of solo hosting. Sometimes you just drop the bag. You know that? Hold on a second here. All right, maybe we do need a moderator. Appreciate you guys and your patience today. Let's get Jake his link because he wants to come talk Jets with us in just a second. Sorry, I hate dead air. I hate dead air. We were taught in radio, never have dead air. That's what you're getting right now, dead air. If you want to get out in front of, during this dead air period, if you want to get out in front of the giveaway that we're doing, the $100 Fanatics giveaway, you can do so by clicking on the link that we have included in the show notes. There's also one available to you in the pinned comment. It'll take you to Primary Residential Mortgage's Instagram page. And let's go through this. He's got the link that he needs, and that allows me to tell you about one of our longest standing sponsors, if not the longest standing sponsor inside the vault and on the Bobby Baltimore channel. And Primary Residential Mortgage has a message for you as Thanksgiving gears up and 2026 being right around the corner. Have you ever seen a home that needs a little work, but very obviously is your dream home after said work is done? If that's the case, perhaps the PRMI Empower FHA 203K loan is for you. It's ideal for turning a fixer-upper into your dream home. And here's what it basically is. It's a loan that you can do renovations on that you also get down payment assistance on. The program itself offers you the same great things that a renovation loan offers. It's coupled with down payment assistance to help you get to the table for less money. So basically, up to 5% down payment assistance based on purchase price. It's not just for first-time home buyers. There are no income limits. 620 or higher in terms of credit score gets you in the door. And renovation costs are uncapped within FHA limits. And as you see right now on the screen, as we've been doing all month, we got a giveaway for you. Right now, if you click on the link and you go to Primary Residential Mortgage on Instagram, it's at PRMI Mid-Atlantic. Click on that link. It'll take you here. Follow them. Comment on the post with the hashtag Vault. Let them know what your dream home looks like. As of this morning, there were only 17 entries. That's pretty good odds for this $100 Fanatics giveaway. So make sure you're subscribed to the Vault in order to enter. If you want to go the extra mile, click on this Google form link right here. Fill out that information because if you win, they'll be able to easily reach out to you. Winner's going to be announced on the 30th of November. Monica, Jimbo, Melissa, and others have all thrown in their entries, and I hope you guys will do the same. As always, you guys know the drill. Supporting our brand sponsors is a direct way of supporting the show, and somebody who knows exactly about all that and building a program, baby, is my friend Jake Asman. And in just a couple months' time, we'll be popping over to San Francisco. We're working on our accommodations as we speak. Welcome back inside the vault. I'm sorry Sarah couldn't join us. I've already totally blown it by not getting you your access link. So apologies for that, but I know you know the struggle when it comes to solo hosting.
Well, I think it's clear that Sarah is the one that's really making this show happen, right? I mean, you're a mess right now behind the scenes. What's going on, Bobby T?
That's exactly right. Jake Asman, the top content creator and Jets YouTuber in the space, and somebody that gave me a ton of inspo early on. And for those of you that have been watching along, you know that every single August, is it? We head on out to Vegas for conferences. We go to the Combine together. We spearhead things for our travels to the Super Bowl, like New Orleans and Vegas. And now we got San Francisco coming up in just a bit. Unfortunately, I think we know that the team that you dedicate your annual coverage to probably won't be representing the conference. I see that you're already involved in mock draft content, so I apologize for that. I feel bad for you. Give us the current state of the New York Jets at 2-8.
Much like my Twitter account that I see you have on the screen. I don't know if you saw this. I got hacked. I haven't had access to my personal account in over 24 hours now. There's like crypto tweets like, oh, I got a car because of crypto. So if your audience could do me a favor and report those fake tweets that are obvious scams, it will go a long way towards my account potentially being, opened back to me. I filed a report with X and haven't heard anything yet. So that's why you see the lock next to my name there. They locked out my account. And you want to know how big of a scum, the hackers are? So my show account at Jake Asman Show, I was using that to check the tweets, and I sent out a tweet yesterday. Hey, everyone, I've been hacked. Please report this tweet. They blocked me from my show account, so I can't even see the tweets. I have like friends of mine sending me the fake tweets. So much like the Jet season, it's very similar to my current situation with my Twitter account. So there's your comp.
Jesus. All right. Well, you guys know the drill. At Jake Asman, at Jake Asman Show. Go take care of business there. I'm sorry I even brought that up to begin with. I was wondering what the hell I was looking at with the cover.
I thought you knew. I thought that's why I thought you're going to be like, you think I'm a wreck. How's your Twitter account? I would be like, that's well played. Well played.
Well, we're both in dire straits. We both need Sarah in our lives. And if that's not understood by now, I don't know what is. The Jets have benched Justin Fields.
Yep.
Tyrod Taylor, the former day 3 pick for the Ravens in 2011. Hard to believe that he's still playing in this league, is going to start. That'll be the second of the year, I believe. So how do you describe the current state of the team?
Look, the Jets at this point, 7 games to go. You're just looking for, something to point to for 2026. You're evaluating what you currently have on your team. You know, they made the big trades at the deadline with Sauce Gardner and Quinton Williams being traded away. They got a ton of picks for those guys. Like I have no issue with the value. I thought getting 2 1s for a corner was an unbelievable return. I thought getting a first and a second for Quinton, who is still very, very good, but he's owed another contract and he's going to be 28, turning 29. I thought that made sense given where they were at. It's just disappointing because they got off to the 1-7 start. And well, I didn't expect them to be a playoff team, Bobby. There's talent on this team, as evident with those trades and the return they got for 2 really good players. So it's been a nightmarish season. Aaron Glenn was off to a terrible start. Game management, clock management. There were just a lot of mistakes he was making. And look, he's a first-year coach. It's going to happen. But I think the growing pains were far worse than most Jet fans were expecting from that. He's been better of late. The team is still playing hard, right? They did win 2 in a row against the Bengals and the Browns, for what it's worth, helping you guys out, of course, in that AFC North. And, they were competitive for about 3 quarters against New England on Thursday night, last time they played, but they were just getting terrible quarterback play. It's not all on Justin Fields, but it was an untenable situation. I mean, Justin Fields had 4 games this year with fewer than 100 passing yards, which is by far the most in the league. They are the lowest ranked passing offense in the sport. So while Tyrod Taylor is not great, he at least is a guy that if you protect him, and the Jets have a very good offensive line, they could at least open things up in the passing game, throw more downfield, have more explosives. And I think that's, if you're a Jet fan, what you're looking to see. Hey, do we have something in A.D. Mitchell? Can John Mechie really be an important part of this receiver room going forward? Mason Taylor's a young rookie tight end who's flashed. Does he get more targets now? Because Garrett Wilson, he's on IR. He's out at least another couple of games here. So you're just looking for some of the younger pass catchers to make plays. And I think the Jets feel that Tyrod not only gives them a better chance to win, Bobby, but he at least will give you a chance to run a conventional offense, and you can maybe hang around and be more competitive with him as your starter.
Yeah. So fire sale happens weeks ago. We knew that was coming. Like you said, Garrett's down. So that's one less playmaker for Tyrod to have at his disposal. I mean, what is the formula in your mind to keep this thing interesting on Sunday?
Well, the Jets, they have to do something they haven't done all year. They have to force turnovers. I mean, the Jets have 1 total turnover through 10 games. I mean, they have broken an NFL record for the fewest amount of turnovers to start the season. I mean, they're 1 takeaways, the fewest in the league. The next worst is the Giants and the Commanders with 6. Like 1 takeaway, fewest by any team through 10 games in the season all time. They have 1 interception. They have 1 fumble recovery and 0 interceptions this entire season. So if there ever was a game for that to change, it would have to be this one. And that to me is where it starts. I think the Jets offense will be better with Tyrod, but it's not going to be an explosive going up and down the field, playing a track type of game with the Ravens. So I think turnovers is key. I think the Jets have had so many issues with communication in the secondary. They got to clean that up to have a chance. So I think it starts with just the defense showing up. And, it's easy to say run the ball, control the time of possession, all that, football cliche stuff. I really think if the Jets are going to win this game, which I don't see it, but if they're going to hang around in this game as a 13.5-point underdog, they're going to have to create short fields for the offense, and they're going to have to make plays. And that to me starts with the defense doing something they've only done once the entire year, which is get a turnover or 2.
Man, that is an insane statistic. One thing that we're talking about today and really all week long, and it's funny because they are winners of 4 in a row. They have clawed themselves back out of that 1-5 hole. They've gotten to 500 football. They're going to have a darn good chance to get above 500 for the first time this season before really a backloaded division stretch begins. You've got the likes of New England and Green Bay awaiting down the stretch as well. So it's really going to stiffen up competition-wise after a really favorable middle part and a murderer's row beginning of the season. But what we've been talking about today is this offensive line. And I'm going to be really curious to see how this, again, it's a new look Jets team that just went through a brutal fire sale. And so I wonder if they're going to have some success taking advantage of what the Ravens have had significant issues with this year in pass protection. That's their guard play. I don't know if you've been following this, but their guard play is among the worst league-wide. Lamar's had at least 3 known ailments pop up, the hamstring most notably, which forced him to miss multiple games, the knee after the Minnesota game, which forced him to miss practice last week, and now an ankle this week that forced him to miss practice Wednesday. He's going to play. He was a full participant yesterday. He's going to be a full today. But I wonder.
No injury report semantics that people will be unnecessarily outraged about.
I think Burrow, maybe that's the Cincinnati strategy right now, right? That they haven't yet made a decision on Burrow. He's going to be listed as questionable, I guess, and they'll make a decision at the last possible second. But yeah, so do you think that they could effectively? Do they have the dogs? I guess is the question. I get it; they're not turning the football over, but what do they have up front?
Well, that's the thing, right? The Jets actually do have two solid pass rushers. Now, they haven't been great this year. Some of that is game script, right? It's not like the Jets have had a lot of leads where they're in obvious pass rushing situations. The one game they was that Cleveland Browns game, and Will McDonald had 4 sacks in that game. He's really good when he gets an opportunity. He's a one-dimensional player, though. He's not great against the run. He's purely a pass rush guy. And Jermaine Johnson is the heart and soul of the defense at this point. He's coming off an Achilles, so he has not really regained that 2023 Pro Bowl form. He's still very good, though. He has been better. He's had back-to-back sacks for the first time in his career these last 2 weeks. So he'd be the guy to watch, him and McDonald. They are capable of getting in there and making plays. But outside of them, you don't have a ton on this defensive line, especially without Quinnen Williams now. They're probably an edge and a DT short from having a legit front. So if those guys get an opportunity, they'd be the ones to watch for potentially coming up with some pass rush on Lamar.
What do you make of this AFC playoff picture right now? When can you remember the last time it's been this wide open? I mean, we started the show, and why don't we just revisit it now? Because as the Amazon graphic suggests, I mean, come on, it's anybody's.
Yeah, it really is unbelievable. I mean, you talk about parity. I mean, this year, and look at the NFC as well. I mean, it feels very wide open in that conference too. It's unreal. You see the Chiefs right now in the hunt, and it just like you do like a double take. And I've watched Denver. The Jets played Denver earlier this year, and I'm not that impressed with them yet. Sean Payton's amazing. They're 9-2. I think Bo Nix has been clutch this year, but I don't think he's been great. And then New England being 9-2 as a diehard Jet fan disgusts me. Their rebuild was 2 years, and now here we go again. So it's crazy, man. I mean, I still think if Rodgers could come back and be healthy, Mike Tomlin is going to have them in the mix the entire way. And then obviously you guys off to the 1-5 start and turning the entire season around with this winning streak. So it feels like it is as wide open as it maybe has ever been in this conference in a very long time.
Yeah. What is the outsider's perspective on this team? I mean, it's a team that the 5 weeks that began the year, you were talking about the Ravens defense in a category that the likes of Cincinnati has been garnering this season.
I thought you guys were going to be doing mock drafts for me for once. I was texting you. I'm like, hey, man, you need any advice how to talk about a bad team? Like, I'm your guy, man. Like, you want to welcome to quarterback hell. I'm an expert at it. I got you. But no, I mean, do Ravens fans still want to fire Harbaugh, by the way? Are we past that? Because I'll take him in 5 seconds if you guys don't want him, please.
Last time that there was definitely some calls for it the last time that we chatted, and that maybe that was over the summer. But yeah, I think there's still an overall argument to be had when it comes to the amount of bites at the apple he's had with Lamar, who's become an all-time great. I think there's a conversation to be had about that with some of their underperformance in the postseason. But as you look at from your Jets perspective, you're just looking for some stability, some consistency, right? Some organizational structure. And that's what the Ravens have on a perennial basis. We know that. And so I think even if it is something that those expectations are always going to be there, and so maybe somebody from the outside looking in could look at that as spoiled, like a Jets fan might. I still think when you're in it the way this fan base is, you have to expect and want more and need more in the postseason. And it's been a long time since that Super Bowl run, a long time.
I get it, but it's just because you haven't won doesn't mean you won't win again.
Correct.
And the bottom line is you can move on from Harbaugh. There's no guarantee you're finding a better coach. There really isn't. It's hard. I mean, it's really hard to find a coach who consistently gives you a chance every year. And he's done it now with 2 different quarterbacks, which I think is impressive.
A lot of different coordinators too, which is always a sign of, when they're getting other gigs like Mike McDonald and Denard Wilson from the 2023 AFC Championship run they went on, and Anthony Weaver's now at DC in Miami, and so on and so forth. I think that might be one of John Harbaugh's greatest strengths, I think, honestly, when it comes to the team building aspect, or let's call it staff building. But what is the outside perspective? I mean, you're looking at this team right now. Are you scared of them?
Well, I mean, look, I'm at a point as a Jet fan where, like, I'm almost like I'd like a competitive loss because I think the Jets are going to get a quarterback this offseason, and I'd prefer to not have to trade up a ton. So the higher they're picking, the more likely they could get one of these guys without having to trade away the treasure chest of picks the Jets have, right? The 5 first over the next 2 years. I prefer to keep all those intact. But so, like, do I fear the Ravens? I think when you compare them to some of the other top teams, what they have is a quarterback that you fear. Now, he's got to prove it in the playoffs. I understand that narrative with Lamar is going to follow him until he eventually wins. You know, that's just how it goes. But I look at the AFC right now. I think the Ravens have a coach and they have a quarterback, and that gives you a chance in the NFL. They have seemingly, fixed some of the defensive issues here. They played a lot better there. To me, if you told me the Ravens went on a run, I wouldn't be surprised. Do I look at them as, the favorites? No, but I don't know if we have a real favorite. Like, I guess New England and Denver would be the favorites if you look at the betting odds, even the Colts. I'm sorry, I've watched a lot of Daniel Jones being from New York and being on ESPN New York for a living. I still got to see more before I'm fully bought in that he's now this, like, franchise QB for them. So I think the Ravens still have as good of a chance as any of the teams you see on the graphic there, because if Lamar is healthy, which you tell me maybe he's not, but if he is, I still feel like with that guy, you got a chance. And if you could basically find ways to build around him and get the O-line straightened out, and obviously still have the running game with Derrick Henry, you got a chance, because I think it's wide open, maybe as wide open as it's ever been.
As you mentioned, you're in the New York market right now, as you have been for multiple years. You got your radio career started in Houston. It's a Texans team that was on a world stage last night and did not disappoint defensively. And Davis Mills played serviceably, and maybe even more serviceably, more than serviceable, I should say, to win the game and manage it accordingly and have a short memory there in the first half. Are you a believer in what the Texans are doing, especially if they can get CJ back out of the concussion?
Yeah, I mean, look, their defense, I think, is the best in the league. They've been unbelievable. So you look at Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. I mean, they just completely took over that game last night. I think D'Amico Ryans is one of the best defensive coaches in the league. He's proven that. Mills has impressed me, because when I was doing radio in Houston, Mills was a rookie. He was so bad. And the fact that he still hung around there, they've actually given him a contract extension to make him the backup for the last few years. He has really improved. He takes care of the ball. He's not too high, not too low. Like, he's so boring, but I think that's perfect for kind of what they need. They needed someone to stabilize things with Stroud out. And look, CJ wasn't playing great for that matter as well. So, the fact that the Texans defense has been able to do what it's done, I mean, that's why they're 6-5 right now. They have been there all year as the biggest catalyst for their turnaround after starting 0-3. So I did enjoy it as a Jet fan. Let me tell you, seeing the Bills Mafia get beat by the Mills Mafia last night, that's for sure. But I think Houston's legit because of that defense. And if they could just get competent quarterback play, they've proven they can hang around with some of the best teams in the league.
That AFC South is starting to shape up to get really, really interesting. I mean, the fact that the Colts, Jaguars, and Texans all squarely involved here. And you talk about, I don't think any path is easy per se because of how much parity there is this year. But if you look at that in the hunt category right now on the bottom of the graphic, guys, with the Ravens, Chiefs, and Texans there, again, it's not the easiest path, but who has the most clear path? It's the Ravens. They have a clear path to winning this division and hosting a home wild card game. Again, it's not an easy path, but it's a clear path. And that, if you told me that a month ago, Jake, I would have told you you're nuts.
It feels like I don't have the Ravens schedule up, but I mean, Pittsburgh is certainly vulnerable right now. We'll see what Rodgers looks like if he plays with this hand injury of his. The Bengals with Burrow, I mean, we'll see. Their defense is just so bad. I don't even know if Joe Burrow could really fix things there. Like, to me, if you're the Ravens, you're eyeing the division. Get the home game. Win the division, easiest way in. I think they still have every opportunity to do it. You still got 2 games at hand. Correct me if I'm wrong, with Pittsburgh, right? So I think, so I think it's to quote Aaron Boone, it's all right in front of you. It's all really right in front of the Ravens here down the stretch. It wouldn't shock me at all if they won the division.
What's right in front of everyone now is a non-spammed network of yours, and that is your YouTube channel. It is 40,000 plus subscriptions deep and counting. You've had the likes of Joe Namath and many other legends inside those channel walls. And you and I, again, have a blast getting together several times for NFL events throughout the offseason. So let everybody know what you got coming up on the channel. And if they want some Jets perspective leading into Sunday, give them what they need to know.
if you want to hear how Jet fans react after any loss, right? You could say, it means nothing. Who cares? Listen to my post-game show after Jets Ravens. When you're done listening to Bobby and Sarah first, of course, you'll hear some unhinged lunatics who still live and die with their team, despite the fact the Jets season has been over for weeks already, and they're 2-8. It's amazing. It's like we all say, who cares? We lose, it's fine. Then if they get killed, we'll still be upset about it. So it's like we're now trying to toe the line of, can we get a competitive loss? We don't want to win, but can we lose competitively, however that looks? And then there are some Jet fans who say, screw the draft. It's a crapshoot. I want to win. And, now the new thing we're arguing about is, do we wait till 2027 to get the quarterback? Because that class is better than this year's class. And I'm like, we say that every year. Get a quarterback now. So if you want to watch me lose my mind and other Jet fans, my channel is the place to do it.
I love it. I appreciate you. I'm very much looking forward to February. For those that haven't been following along, when this guy and I get on the road together, we start working out some hotel sponsorship opportunities.
The Bay Area. That's all you, Bobby. I got us with the credential. You're the man that handles the hotel accommodations. I'm expecting us to get like a penthouse for Super Bowl week. I'm very excited.
You already know it. Between Indianapolis and the Bay Area, we're very much looking forward to it. And when you and I take the town in San Fran, we'll have to perhaps include a little bit of vlogging in our daily upkeep when it comes to the content that we're bringing that week. So anyway, partner, enjoy it. Enjoy your weekend, and I'm sure we'll catch up. If you want me to return the favor, just hit me up.
Enjoy the game Sunday, and God bless the Ravens fans, because, if you guys are matched up with the Patriots in the playoffs or the Bills, you know who I'm rooting for. So I will be rooting for the Ravens for you guys, and for Bobby, and for Sarah as well. So hopefully it's not an awful game Sunday. I don't know what we're going to get. Hopefully it's not terrible, though.
And next time, Sarah will be here to carry us. That's what she'll do.
God. Love Sarah. Sarah, if you're watching, I love you.
See you, brother.
Later, man. Thanks for having me.
Jake Asman from the Jets perspective and the top YouTuber in the space. I dropped his link into the live chat where apparently it's a bloodbath today. Can we clean it up a little bit, guys? There's only so much that I can do at once while trying to host a show. So thanks for your patience. And again, if you could clean it up, I'd appreciate it. And obviously there's probably some more cleaning up that I need to do myself with perhaps a burner that is now involved. I will do that once the show is over. Thanks for your patience. Richard says, I can't wait to see the Ravens defense versus the Bengals offense. I believe that'll be a big test to prove if we are improved or if it's the competition. Richard also says, make me a moderator. Everyone here knows that I enforce rules. Oh, yeah? Captain writes, have you watched Nick Wright? He's starting this narrative. If Lamar can't run, he's just an average quarterback and thrower. He said it twice this week on 2 different shows. I have not seen that, but I will take a look at it. Appreciate you, Captain. Nikita says, media uses Lamar as rage bait at times. Shaking my head. And Kobe's back with another super chat. What's going on, KP? A solution to the offense playing on time with a below-average offensive line may be running the offense exclusively out of 12 personnel. That's obviously one running back, 2 tight ends. It gets likely on the field more, and it helps Derrick and opens up the play-action game. They're going to have to do whatever it takes, KP. If you're Todd Monkin, do whatever it takes to get the ball out of Lamar's hands quickly. Do not allow the pocket, and this is more about his offensive line than it is Todd Monkin, but do not allow the pocket to get so compressed so quickly that even if Lamar does have space, it's gonna speed up his internal clock. It's gonna lead to inaccuracies, and ultimately, it's gonna lead to turnovers. And yeah, there's been some flukes there, right? Like throwing one off of Roger Rosengarten's helmet, which led to a deflected interception, as we saw unfold on Sunday in Cleveland. Todd Monkin mentioned that during his press conference. But it's going to lead to an inconsistent offensive output, and we've seen that really throughout this win streak. Aside from the fact that, I don't know, maybe aside from the Chicago game and the Miami game, they moved the ball pretty well in the second half, but at times in the first half, that was anybody's game. Richard says, I love unhinged lunatics, with popcorn emojis and hashtag McChickens. Richard also says, I'm a moderator for Ingraven. You want proof? Ask him. I did not know that. So Ing has okay. Richard has been hired by Ing. I did not realize this. That's a great hire, by the way. It's a great hire. appreciate you guys for being with me. Let me know please point out and tag, if you could, the burner that's at issue. Would appreciate that if you guys can help me out in this multitasking effort. I want to make sure I give more of a due to our sponsor because, quite frankly, that was a mess earlier when I was trying to get Jake his link and just falling all over what I was supposed to be talking about. So bear with me before I give you my game prediction with a score prediction attached as well. Primary Residential Mortgage is this episode's title sponsor. And got a question for you. First of all, I just spoke to one of the loan officers, one of the business folks at Primary Residential Mortgage. He's actually called in on this program before, Zach. And he's all about business development, working with potential home buyers, so on and so forth. He does great work for them. And the vault's working, man. You guys are calling Primary Residential Mortgage for those of you that are interested in getting your process started in home buying. And there is a specific number that I'll have for you in just a second here that you can call if you don't want to just start the application process now, which you can by clicking on the link that we have included in the show notes. But anyway, for the purpose of this conversation, have you ever seen a home that needs a little bit of work, but very obviously is your dream home after said work is done? If that's the case, the Empower FHA 203K loan could work for you. It's ideal for turning a fixer-upper into a dream home. It's a loan that you can do renovations on, that you also get down payment assistance on. The program itself offers you the same great things that a renovation loan offers, but it's coupled with down payment assistance to help you get to the table for less money. And again, you see it right now on the screen, which is a link that we have included in the show notes, which brings you to our landing page at primeres.com. And that right there will give you the information on how to apply, and just click that link that you see right here to do so. You can also call if you want more information prior, 410-663-2222. That's 410-663-2222. And you can reach out to them that way. So special thanks to them for the continued support. Hopefully you guys will consider hopping on this opportunity. It's up to 500. It's up to 5% down payment assistance based on purchase price. It's not just for first-time home buyers. There are no income limits. 620 or higher from a credit score perspective gets you in. And renovation costs are uncapped within FHA limits. That is what's available to you as we introduce Primary Residential Mortgage's Empower FHA 203K loan here inside the vault. And while we're at it, again, the $100 Fanatics gift card is there for the taking. If you go to the link that we have pinned in our comment section right now, it's also in the show notes. Would love for you to enter yourself in. Comment on the post with the hashtag Vault. Let them know what your dream home looks like. Follow PRMI Mid-Atlantic on Instagram. Subscribe to the Vault if you don't already do so. Join Monica, Jimbo, Melissa, Kenny, so on and so forth. Sadesh, I see in there. JP, Alice, Jason. Bunch of different entries in there that have entered themselves in to the $100 Fanatics gift card that we're going to give away coming up on the 30th of November. 9 days from now. Under 10 days out. Thanks to them for the continued support. Okay, time for predictions, overall game scores. We ready? 14.5 right now on ESPN.com is what the Ravens are favored. Home favorites. 14.5. Over-under is set at 44.5. It looks like the spread is actually 13.5 now. Okay, 13.5. It opened at 14.5. So Ravens are heavy favorites, as they should be, and I think they win this game. I'm going to go with 26-14. 26-14, Ravens find a way to get it done against a team that's going to be starting Tyrod Taylor, the former Raven, still in the league at 36 years of age. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section if you haven't already done so with your overall score predictions for Sunday in Baltimore. As always, I'll have pregame coverage beginning in the 11 o'clock hour, right when inactives drop. And if you haven't already done so, you can go ahead and enter a comment in or your vote into our poll. The poll, what is it? What's the biggest issue with the Ravens offense? The offensive line, Lamar's health, Todd Monkin's play calling, red zone woes. Obviously, it's all of the above, but I'm asking you what you think the most pressing issue is within the team right now. D Black says 31-17 Ravens. Dre Dog says 24-17. Norris says 28-10. Major Media says 31-14. Ramsey says 36-3. The Phoenix says 35-9. A lot of others as well flying in here. Alex says 34-9. Mo says 34-17. A lot of confidence. And there should be. It's a Jets team that, again, is looking towards the future already. Wildlife says there's no reason why the Ravens shouldn't look perfect against the Jets. But that's why I call this a trap, especially with Cincinnati next. It's a short week. Appreciate the super chat, Wildlife. Brian says 38-16. Eileen, 24-10. Christian, 28-17. That Ravens guy, 34-10. You know, a couple thoughts from earlier on, just in case you missed my commentary on my personal channel yesterday after Lamar's press conference. Just because John Harbaugh is choosing to handle his media approach related to the offensive line evaluations the way that he's chosen to publicly doesn't mean that he's handling that similarly internally. There are hard conversations being had, without question, inside that building. And it's not just this week. This goes all the way back to a 10-game sample size. Now, they've had really solid performances, much like they did week one when it comes to running the football and pass protecting. Now, ultimately, the fourth quarter was a nightmare there across the board. Ravens cough up a double-digit deficit, couldn't stop a cold, get vanilla in the red zone, really just from a play calling perspective as well, lack of execution, so on and so forth. To me, moving forward into this Jets game and what will be a short week, 2 games in 5 days, probably going to see Joe Burrow on Thanksgiving night against the Bengals at your place. It'll be the first of 2 meetings within a 3-week stretch. To me, this is all about moving the ball quickly and effectively, using Zay Flowers accordingly, using the tight ends in the middle of the field to pick apart what the Jets have in level 2. And ultimately, you're going to have to chip Jermaine Johnson. You're going to have to give these guards as much of a cushion and as much help as you can. It's a Jets defense that, yes, just went through a fire sale, but is still capable of pressuring the quarterback, is still capable of getting home. But as you heard from Jake, this is not a team that turns the football over, turns teams over, I should say. What do you say? 1 turnover they created in 10 games? It's terrible. They're 2-8. They're going nowhere fast. They just benched Justin Fields. Garrett Wilson, their top target, is on IR. They're struggling. It's struggle city. So this is an opportunity for the Ravens to not only potentially play with a different combination from an offensive line standpoint and perhaps give Emory Jones his first run of the season at right guard. Why not throw a rotation in there? You used it effectively last year. Yeah, you don't want to exactly make a habit out of that, but give Emory Jones a chance. Throw him in there in a rotational type of capacity and see what you have. Run the football effectively. Justice Hill's going to be back out there. You're going to be able to use a bunch of different looks between the King, Justice, and Keaton. Keep Lamar upright. This week is important. Much like it was on a short week. Not for Lamar because he didn't play prior to the Dolphins game, but for the entire team. It's a short week coming up. Cincinnati's going to give you their best shot. You like, obviously, how this offense is going to be able to match up against some of their defensive deficiencies. but you got to keep Lamar upright. Ravens are going to see Brandon Stevens for the first time since they let him walk in free agency at cornerback. There's no Sauce Gardner anymore. He's in Indianapolis, and the Jets got a whole lot of draft capital for future years as a result. It's not a get-right game. It's a game that can get you above 500 for the first time this season. It's a game that can get you in an opportunity to see what you have in a young player like Emory Jones. It's a game that, depending on what happens with Pittsburgh this weekend, could have you interlocked atop the division with 5 or 6 weeks left to go in the season. It's all in front of them. And as you look at that AFC playoff picture, it is undeniable. At this point, it is undeniable that the clearest path for those that find themselves in the hunt in this category, the clearest path to win in the division are the 5-5 Baltimore Ravens. Imagine that. So there you have it. Appreciate you guys for a fantastic week. Sarah will be back on Sunday, as is currently planned. And I appreciate you guys for dropping by the program. Thanks for your patience, as always. Solo hosting is difficult. It can't be an exact science at all times. So thanks for everything along the way there as you guys try and build me up or perhaps tear me down in the live chat. You never know how it goes. Wildlife on the way out says, "'Tis the season to be jolly. So bench fa-la-la. Perhaps this will be the most anticipated pregame warm-up in recent memory coming up on Sunday at the bank." I appreciate you guys. Raven Hater, you can continue all you want with the free Maverick hashtags. He's gone, and rightfully so. And if you don't watch your back, you might be gone next too. That's not a physical threat. That's a threat based on your nonsense in the live chat. Raven Hater, and that's with a D in hater. That's right. You can keep the hashtags up, baby. Let's go. While you're at it, come on over to the Bobby Baltimore channel later this afternoon, and we'll throw you in. Aha! Now I see what's going on, and that, again, is because there have been hundreds of chats, and I haven't seen it. Of course, that's Mr. Burner. Okay. Thank you for this information. It was much-needed context, and now let's take care of business, shall we? Where is he at? Let me make sure I find him. He is Maverick, Bobby. Hello. Okay. Thank you. He gone. Maybe, just maybe, I'll let his I got to be careful with my language. He can come over to my channel, and we'll see what happens, won't we? Yes, we will. Thanks to Primary Residential Mortgage for the continued support of our program. If you could, on the way out, like the video. You guys are funny. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Thank you for being good sports with me today. I know it's been sub 90 minutes of content, but between my personal channel and the extra work that goes into solo hosting, it's just how it goes. So thanks for your patience. Appreciate everybody for tuning in today. I will be live coming up in just a bit, and then pregame coverage, as always, in the 11 o'clock hour on Sunday. Sarah and I will be postgame live streaming at 5 o'clock. Join the Discord group if you haven't already done so. This group is coming up on 1,500 members, and I would love for you to join the 24/7 hub for conversations surrounding Baltimore sports. It is free, and between Bobby After Dark commentary, Ravens football commentary, baseball across the board, you name it, welcome shout-outs are what you're given when you join, and it's free. 24/7 hub for conversations surrounding Baltimore sports. The access link is in the show notes. I just dropped it into the live chat right now, so I look forward to it. I appreciate you guys, as always, for spending some time with us here inside the vault. Enjoy the rest of your Purple Friday, and I'll catch up with you later this afternoon on the Bobby Baltimore side of things.